What's up, guys? Welcome to Box to Box Football. And sorry, I missed you last week with the Premier League show, but we're back again with the Premier League show, talking about all the big topics and all the big moments of this week in the Premier League. Match day 7?
Yep,
yeah,
7.
Yeah. Match day 7. So let's go into it, Jack, and let's go all the way to Old Trafford, the theatre of dreams. And Arsenal went into Old Trafford, and for the first time in 14 years, Arsenal win there. 1-0, goal from Aubameyang. Everything's good in the hood. After a disappointing game against Leicester, Arsenal finally back. Jack, tell me what you think of the game.
I think that, without going into too much detail into the game specifically, I'm just going to try and echo a point that Tim Cahill made after the game that I thought was perfect. And that is that when Mikel Arteta has a mistake or has a loss or has a failure, you see it in the weeks after that the team improves, the team gets better, they learn, they still have this philosophy of the way they're playing, but Mikel clearly brings them in, has them see why something went wrong, how they can fix it and how they can get better. Where on the other hand, you've got somebody like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who God knows what he's doing. Changing it, he's trying to do this diamond thing now, where defensively they go into like a 4-3-3 with Bruno playing as like a 9. So then you've got the two players who would be as part of the diamond when they're in attack, kind of push out and run the channels a little more, with Bruno operating in that midfield. Fullbacks push on a little bit. But yeah, again, that's not worked. And for some reason, he's sticking at that. Whereas Mikel Arteta, there's a philosophy, a way of doing things. And each and every time something bad happens, you see Arsenal getting better and better. This is the reason why, in my opinion, Arsenal are going to really figure it out at some point, and we're going to see Arsenal. I still have them in second.
This is how I feel about the game. I felt going into it, me being an Arsenal fan, I was thinking, Old Trafford again. We know our record there. Old Trafford is the one place that, if you're an Arsenal fan, you don't want to go. No matter how well you're playing, you always seem to mess up when you get to Old Trafford. But today, I felt Arteta got everything spot on. From minute one, we pressed Manchester United. The wing backs and also the players out wide, Aubameyang and Willian, were brilliant. They really isolated the fullbacks. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to him. They really isolated the fullbacks. But the best thing watching this Arsenal game was, to me, the defensive two. Now, the biggest talk about Arsenal is that we always talk about the spine of it. It's too easy to play through them. Yesterday, Partey and Nene had one of these performances that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. It was almost a Petit Vieira-esque type performance. Thomas Partey could possibly be our biggest signing in the last 15 years. It is that big, and he was that great yesterday. And Nene, he's known as the backwards, sideways guy. He was immense. And it's not just his on-the-ball play, but his pressing. There was one clip on Twitter I seen of him. He covered about 70 to 80 yards in like the 88th minute. I'm thinking, who gave you the energy to do that? But that's just the enthusiasm that the manager gives you. Arsenal were brilliant. Arteta got everything spot on. I thought Gabriel was tremendous. I thought Rob Holding was tremendous. Tierney, the whole thing was brilliant. But then on the flip side, Manchester United, and it's almost this thing that's like, we're going to come in here week in and week out, and we're going to be up and down with Manchester United. Next week, absolutely brilliant. Rashford, Paul Pogba, he's back. Bruno Fernandes scores a penalty. But then this week, I'm not going to lie, he goes with the Diamond 4, and it seemed that they had no clue what was going on. When you play a Diamond 4, one of the most important things are fullbacks and their ability to push on and really, really make the wide areas important. Wan-Bissaka, defensively, is the best defensive fullback in the Premier League. But going forward, he's one of the worst. And he isn't going to give Manchester United anything. Wan-Bissaka isn't going to give you much going forward. That's the exact same thing with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is a little bit better, but he isn't going to give you that much. There. You got Fred and McTominay, who are good players, but they're never really going to get you to that level. And then after a while, I realized, okay, they play with the 4 there. with no real plan, basically asking Pogba, Fernandes, and Rashford create for us. No real plan, just create for us.
So the team will look a hell of a lot different when Solskjaer finally figures out that he should probably start Donny van de Beek. Alex Tellez is going to be the most unbelievable upgrade on Luke Shaw that we've ever seen. And yeah, Wan-Bissaka, unfortunately, you're doing the dance with the devil here a little bit. You know, you've got, in my opinion, you say the Premier League, I say the world. I think this is the best.
No, he's that good. He's that good.
This might be the best one-on-one defender in the world, let alone, you know, I mean, obviously isolated to the fullback area. I don't know how he'd do it centre-back, but, you know, I also have a theory that Aaron Wan-Bissaka might make a really good centre-back. But the point is, I think that there is a future here where for Manchester United fans out there, it might look good and rosy and stuff, but you have to look at the difference between the way Mikel Arteta and Arsenal's trajectory is going and what Solskjaer's is doing. And all I'm saying is, with the likes of Max Allegri, we've got Mauricio Pochettino, as we speak, on Monday Night Football with, I assume, Carragher and David Jones. And I fully expect there to be questions about Real Madrid, about Juventus, about Manchester United, of course. And I'm just wondering if maybe before Christmas or in and around Christmas, Roy Keane, I think, said it, you know, the players are going to have Solskjaer fired. And, you know, getting the best out of Pogba's always been a conundrum. So I don't want to dwell on the game too much. I know we've got other games to get to. But I felt that the whole format of the game was very indicative of where I see Arsenal going and where I see Manchester United going.
My thing for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is that I feel like he's trying to get all the players on side and he's losing himself in that way. For me, he needs to find a system that he really wants to work to and stick with that system, because it's just going like this. You know, if he has to upset a player like a Pogba, like a Bruno Fernandes, or a McTominay, he's going to have to do that.
The thing, I think, my final thing, because I know we've got to move on. Why in a team with Martial, Rashford, Cavani, Fernandes, Pogba, Van de Beek, you know, you've got all these players.
But listen to the names. They got some incredible names there.
But why is there such a reliance on one guy? With all those guys, right, why is there such a reliance on one guy? Now, a star player for a team that's not so good, you understand it. You go, okay, this guy, like Wilfried Zaha for Palace a couple of years ago, maybe even now, you'd go, right, this guy is the only reason that this team is ever going to achieve anything, right? But for this team, I just mentioned those 6 names. Bruno Fernandes should not be the sole reason why they win or lose.
Okay, guys, in Manchester United fans, Arsenal fans, please comment down below. Let us know what you think. And we're going to move on to the next game now. Let's talk about, who should we get into? Let's talk about Chelsea. Chelsea are looking a bit tasty right now. They went away to Burnley this weekend, and to be fair, they're coming away right now. Went away to Burnley, won 3-0. Got goals from Zuma, Ziyech, and Werner. Helped Chelsea to a comfortable 3-0 win. 5 clean sheets in a row for Chelsea right now, with Mendy in goal. It seems like Frank Lampard is he has his faith in his goalkeeper right now, and it seems to be really working defensively. They look strong with Reece James, Kante, Thiago, Zuma, and Chilwell.
So you know what's funny? I spoke to my friend. I went back to my kind of hometown area this past weekend. A friend of mine was talking to me. The Chelsea backline, including the goalkeeper, are not speaking English to each other. They are speaking French, because you have Edouard Mendy, French goalkeeper. I know. I'd imagine his original origin is like like you can make an entire French team of African-born players.
Yeah.
So you've got Mendy, Thiago Silva, who was at PSG for a long, long time. Then you've got Kurt Zuma, who is obviously French. The only guy, bless him, left out of not speaking French is Reece James. So just thought that was kind of interesting. But
and Chilwell.
Yeah, and Chilwell, of course. Thiago Silva, is a beast still. Kurt Zuma is a physical freak, but he's not particularly bright in terms of his positioning and his decision-making a lot of the time. He has a guy next to him now in Thiago Silva who can just tell him where to do, give him little hints and tips, impart a little bit of knowledge here and there. And I can see that being a really strong partnership going forward for those two. Of course, attacking-wise, they're still getting to know each other. Ziyech's brilliant. We haven't seen a left foot like his in a long, long time. And obviously my predictions at the beginning of the season, I thought he'd be the lead assist maker. Obviously, I know he was hurt, but I think he got a goal and assist at the weekend. I think we're just going to see that continue. I would expect him to start on the right wing more often than not for this Chelsea team. And yeah, like we've said, I think it will still be like Manchester United. I still think we'll have great games and bad games, but I expect that kind of wave that we keep talking about to get a little flatter as they get to know each other and get a bit more consistency.
I feel Chelsea there. Everything is just seems to come together now, and I'm not saying it's perfect, but you can see the little bits coming there. Ziyech for me was a huge part to come at Chelsea. I felt out of all the signings, he was the one that was going to make that much of a difference going forward. We know about the creators pack, but even a player like Timo Werner, Chelsea bought him to be a striker, and it seems like he's more employed out wide right now, and it's something that we might see him come back into a central position right now. But it seems like Chelsea seem to settle with a Giroud or a Tammy Abrams. I'm coming in to the centre at a time. Defensively with Kurt Zouma and Thiago. Now I didn't watch the game, but could it work? I think it can.
I wonder if like, because I remember talking to you about this. Chelsea have never really had like a properly prolific number 9. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We talked about Anelka, I think, for that 1 year or so at Chelsea, where I think he did pretty. Was it 19 he scored 1 year or 18? Something like that.
18.
But like, really, there are goals in Chelsea historically have always come from wingers or midfielders or this kind of thing. So I don't mind it so much. I mean, as long as they're scoring 3 goals a game away from home against a tough, like low block kind of team, then I think that they're doing something right. But yeah, Chelsea looking good.
I'm actually glad you mentioned that, because when you actually look at the players who are capable of scoring goals there, Ziyech will definitely score goals. Timo Werner will score goals. Giroud and Tammy Abrams will obviously chip in with goals too. Player like a Mason Mount, he's a goal scorer. Exact same thing with Kai Havertz. Chelsea going forward. You look at there's a bit of a gem going on there. They could be the most.
Hudson-Odoi is still being wanted by Bayern and those guys.
I won't be surprised if they're the most potent attack in the Premier League for years to come. But we're going to move on now, and we're going to talk about the champions. Now, since they lost Virgil van Dijk, it's been a bit of uproar for Jurgen Klopp, with lots of players going out, losing Matip, losing Fabinho the other day, Thiago, not seeming to have his whole squad fully fit. But Liverpool keep on getting results. Played at home to West Ham this weekend. 1-2-0. 1-2-1 came from a goal behind. Bit of a contentious penalty. But Jack, tell me, how do you think Liverpool are doing right now?
I think that similarly to when we talked about Arsenal a little earlier, it's a team. Jurgen Klopp has them playing in a certain way. There is a philosophy. People know the roles. People know the principles of the system. And I think really whoever you plug into that system is going to benefit from that, because the other 10 players on the pitch all know what they're doing. Conversely, Manchester United type of dynamic, which I talked about before. So this is why a lot of the time when players get put into really, really good systems, I'm not giving the players too much credit. I'm more likely to give the manager credit, because he's created a culture and he's created a way of training and a style of play that is benefiting everybody. Now, you lose Virgil van Dijk, huge loss. I'm not even going to pretend that that's not potentially the biggest loss of maybe any player in the league, really.
Yes.
And then obviously losing Matip is not ideal. But you can bring somebody in to cover those positions, and as long as the other 8 players are still doing the same thing, it's not going to be quite as bad as, say, if Virgil van Dijk played for Manchester United and Virgil van Dijk got injured. Then it would be curtains. Are Liverpool going to concede more goals? Sure, of course they are. But are Liverpool also going to realise, damn, now we have to score more goals? Yes, probably. So Liverpool, if they weren't fun to watch anyway, I think they're going to be a lot more fun to watch this year. I still am just a little bit, the Van Dijk news is so big. I don't know how many comeback wins they're going to be able to get over the course of the year.
That's my biggest thing. Liverpool shows to me a champion mentality by coming back against West Ham, but they cannot keep on giving away these types of goals in like these. It's not. And if it wasn't for you can call it what you want, with the penalty was a penalty. To me, he clipped him. I'm guessing. If it wasn't for that decision, you would have struggled to see Liverpool getting back into the game. They didn't really create that many chances to get back into the game. But the one thing that you also mentioned there was that Liverpool score a lot of goals. Yes, they score a lot of goals, but they score a lot of goals coming from certain players. So look at Alexander-Arnold, you look at Andy Robertson, who are going forward, two of Liverpool's most important players. They don't really give you goals. You look at the midfield three, they're not really goal scorers. I can't remember last time Gini Wijnaldum scored. I know Jordan Henderson had a goal disallowed the other week, but he's not really that much of a goal scorer. Exactly the thing with Thiago, Fabinho. Firmino, as being Liverpool's number 9, he's not that much of a goal scorer. The reliance on Salah and Sadio Mane to score goals, to me, might be a big problem going further into the season. Now, Jota's came in and chipped in with goals, and he's definitely a big plus for them, but that might be a bit of a problem, because what happens when the goals drop out from Sadio Mane and Mo Salah are coming to the season?
Pulled hamstring. You know, a pulled hamstring that you then do again in training when you're trying to come back, that's 6 weeks. You know, and stranger stuff has happened. You know, I'm sure that Liverpool back themselves and the players, you know, Minamino, for example, I'm sure they've got hopes for him, and Jota, like as you say, has come in. But yeah, when you're solely reliant on only a couple of guys, really, I mean, the other real threat was going to be Van Dijk, wasn't it? Headers and whatnot.
Exactly. You take that as Van Dijk going, like, especially from set pieces, is probably Liverpool's biggest threat. I think he chipped in with over 6 goals last season. That's something that Jurgen Klopp might need to look at. But let's move on to Tottenham, and we know about the Son and Kane stuff, but an old player came back this week. Old Gareth Bale came back from the PGA Tour and got Tottenham a winner. Tottenham played Brighton at home, 1-2-1. A late goal from Gareth Bale helped seal the 3 points for them, and they're second in the league right now. I know it's 7 games, but they are second in the league. You got Son scoring goals. You got Harry Kane assisting and scoring goals. Defensively, not bad. I understand they had a hiccup the other week, but as a team, Jack, they're looking good. And the way Man City and Liverpool are this year, could they be a title challenge for Tottenham this year?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. I mean, you know, I think they killed the transfer market. I know we haven't done a video on, say, who was the best or who was the worst in the transfer market this year, but you have to look at Tottenham's business and just think, wow, they really did some work here. And Ndombele actually playing well and applying himself and supposedly now training well and all that kind of stuff. It's like a new signing in and of itself, you know. The only thing I'll say is it's such a classic example of either Mourinho or, as more recently we've seen, somebody like Kane. It's all happy and it's all smiles until Kane gets an injury. Somebody like Son gets an injury. In January, Mourinho wants to sign a player, he can't, and it gets all a bit feisty. And, you know, all I'm saying is this has all the ingredients of a title win in the Premier League for Tottenham. All the ingredients. But it's Jose Mourinho, and we never know what could happen going forward. I'm so pleased for Bale, though. I just want to say that. I'm absolutely, you know, I love the fact Gareth Bale's back.
Now, Jack, I don't know if I should stand for your Mourinho slander. Not forgetting that he's a three-time Premier League champion. I'm just reminding you that. But again, I look at this Tottenham team right now, and I feel like it's already in the makings of a Mourinho-type team. Defensively, I'm not saying that like they're great, but they're looking a bit more assured than last season. Mm-hmm. And then going forward, when you have Gareth Bale and Son, you're going to score goals. And like you've seen the way that they've been lashing in goals this season. But also, you have a player like Gareth Bale coming off the bench when he's probably fully fit, will end up in the starting 11, also chipping in with goals. Going forward, that is frightening. And if they can stop goals from leaking in, like they're definitely going to be title contenders. And like, you know what? And like, you know that thing about Mourinho, he does not care about looking pretty. He's all about getting results. And I definitely think that he will go on, Jack.
The only thing I'll say is we saw the documentary, and I think everyone who watched the documentary got a real good feel for Jose Mourinho. He's so likable. If you're a Barcelona fan, whatever. Like, I totally get. If you're I was about to say a Tottenham fan, but obviously if you're a Tottenham fan, you're absolutely loving it now. I understand why people may not like him if he's against your team because he's such a success. But if that idea of we have to be expletive word, right? We have to be intelligent expletive word, then if he's finally got some players out of the club that aren't that way, and the players that can be that way, it's kind of seeping into them a bit, and he signs some players who are that way, who are ruthless, you are going to kind of have this Inter Milan Mourinho team repeat potentially. It's that kind of style.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be all, okay, we're going to be boring at times, but when we really need to turn it on with players like Kane and Son who can get us a goal at any time, we're going to be hard to beat and we're going to be hard to play against. But, Jack, we're just going to move on. Just going to go on to some quick fire games. Just a quick one on Man City. Going away to Sheffield United, winning 1-0, goal from Kyle Walker. They seem to be going under the radar this year. We all know how great Man City have been in the last 3 seasons, but this year the coverage hasn't been that strong. I understand losing players like Jesus and Aguero has been a bit of a problem, but people haven't really talked about Man City that much.
No, I mean, I think you know my thoughts on this. I feel like Man City are just waiting for next year and waiting for Messi to be on the team sheet. I'm not kidding. I genuinely feel that is, imagine the first game week next year where they announce David Alaba as their starting left centre-back or left-back, and they start Messi in like a pocket or an inside forward on the right. Like, whoa, now we're talking kind of thing.
Jack has already given like exclusive news that we don't even know what's going to happen yet, but you know what I say about that.
They're set. If they can also just sign a striker next year, if they get Messi on a free, Alaba on a free, and they can like put a bunch of money for like a decent striker, watch out, Man City are winning the league next year. But as far as I'm concerned, there is this wait for next year. The performances haven't been impressive. They haven't really blown teams out convincingly. I mean, 1-0. It's Sheffield United. It's away from home, but Sheffield United haven't looked like they did last year, for example. My thoughts, and I really think they blew it in the transfer market. Aguero is just a walking injury at this point. He's been worked so hard from such a young age, from Atletico Madrid up through to Man City, and so relied upon. And obviously Jesus, unfortunately, is not really a good enough backup, and he's hurt as well, right? Or he's out.
Yeah. He's injured right now.
I do think they messed up not getting at least another kind of proper striker in there. But yeah, this is a Man City team. They can beat anybody in the league on their day. I expect them to make top 4. I just don't feel that they've got strictly a title challenge in them.
It's Man City. They're obviously going to challenge. It's definitely going to happen. You look at the quality. You got Foden. You got Kevin De Bruyne. You got Sterling, who seems to be their biggest goal threat this season. They're obviously going to be in the title hunt. But we're going to move on. Just talk about one more game. Game of the week: Aston Villa versus Southampton. That game finished 3-2. Southampton 4-0 up. James Ward-Prows with the free. This guy's free kick technique is unbelievable.
Well, but forget free kicks. Even deliveries for crosses, corners, like free kicks where he's not shooting, where he's just crossing the ball in. I've said to friends in the past, I might start James Ward-Prowse in like an England team for the Euros, even if he's not your best midfielder, just so that on those free kicks, on those corners, that loop delivery he can get on corners and free kicks. It's like Beckham. The only person that can compare to is like Beckham.
That's what I was just going to say. Maybe his body shape is a bit different to the way David Beckham hits it, but my days when he catches it and to score 2 free kicks, especially the second one, so close. I'm so close to the goal, able to get the ball up and over the wall. Wow, Danny Ings, absolute banger. What a game that was, guys. Definitely check that game out. But we're done for the day. Now, tell me what you think about all the footballs going on this week. Arteta, Solskjaer, what's going on there? The Wizards versus the guy who, is he getting fired? We got Chelsea really coming to form. Can Tottenham win the league? Liverpool are standing firm. Man City going under the radar. Let us know, guys. Comment down below. Thank you for watching. This is Box to Box Football, and we will see you next time.